Tensions continue to rise in South Africa. The repatriation of foreign nationals is becoming an increasingly visible and very sensitive issue. Among those affected are Malawian nationals who returned home to Malawi. This is after many years of living and working in South Africa. Their return raises some very important questions about reintegration, economic pressures back home, and the broader regional dynamics driving migration. It also highlights the human impact of policy decisions and shifting public sentiment. Of course, this is a story and a conversation that we will be expanding on as we try and get a picture of what is happening on the ground, the mood among Malawians returning from South Africa. I mean, what are some of those stories that they're hearing as, they arrive home? And a lot of the Malawian nationals spent years and years living in South Africa, and in some cases, decades living and working in South Africa. How difficult is the transition back to life in Malawi? And of course, this also expands the conversation on some of the reasons that have forced the Malawians to return home as we look at the tensions that continue to rise in South Africa when it comes to the repatriation of foreign nationals. And of course, just as we started the show, we heard quite a bit from the All Africa Bishops' Council appealing to South Africans planning action against undocumented migrants come 30 June not to take the law into their own hands. And of course, it's a conversation that we will continue to focus on as we now bring in our correspondent in Malawi, George Mhango. George, a very good evening to you. Welcome.
A very good evening to you too. Thank you.
Perhaps let's start here. Paint a picture for us. I mean, what has been the mood among Malawians returning from South Africa? And with that, there must be a lot of stories and a lot to be told as the Malawians touch base and get home.
Yeah, so the first thing that I can talk about is the fact that there were these Malawians in South Africa in different parts, different provinces, who showed up to the government of Malawi through the Malawi embassy in Pretoria and the consulate in Johannesburg that they want to get back to Malawi and start afresh, knowing fully what is happening in that rainbow nation.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came out publicly, they were registered at the Malawi embassy there, and then their details were being taken. And then government also said they are going to do this voluntary repatriation without the aid of other partners.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a government-funded voluntary repatriation process, and these are, the people that are volunteers to come back, but still more others are still there.
Yeah.
So if you might be able to also ask me to say as to how the mood was in Blantyre upon arrival at Kamuzu Stadium, a number of their relatives were available to
Mm-hmm.
check on them and check on how they were coping or their health status, and so on and so on. And these people are coming from different districts across the country. In the southern region, they're there, the central region, in the northern region, they're there. But the definite figure that we can be talking about, which has been certified by the authorities
Mm-hmm.
as the head count was happening, was about between 171 to 176. But officially, the exact figure hovers around 176 as to those that have just returned from South Africa today.
Yeah. And of course, many of the individuals spent years and sometimes even decades living and working in South Africa. What are they saying? I mean, and some of the reasons that have prompted them to leave South Africa to return home. And I suppose for some, it will be starting fresh, while others will just, be well integrated.
Yeah, so major reasons why these people said they decided to come back home is that they feel threatened, and their particulars are not what the South African government wants, because most of them admitted to saying that they had undocumented, stay permits in South Africa. So much so that this would not have made them to leave them there for a number of maybe months or years or so. But the best way was for them to get back to Malawi and start afresh without them, playing a hide and seek game there. Yes.
And how prepared is Malawi to absorb these returning citizens? Because, of course, one wonders if there are certain programs that are in place to reintegrate or perhaps help with housing, employment, and all sorts of other social issues.
Well, I should point it out that when they arrived, after undergoing through the screening processes, some medical checkups to find if they have COVID, if they have Ebola, if they have other, diseases. So the chief secretary to the government, Justin Saidi, made a statement saying that he thanks those people that voluntarily, declared to come back, and that their life or their livelihoods will be taken care of, knowing fully that there are some social cash transfers happening around. And secondly, that government has just, rolled out the loans you see through the Malawi Economic Development Rural Facility, MEDEF, which went through some checks and balances upon this government, coming in. And there is another, facility which they said the Constituency Development Fund, which in Malawi kwacha means that 500,000 billion Malawi kwacha in each and every constituency. So we have about 293 constituencies. So each and every person who has decided to come back home and has been well received, the chief secretary said they should be able to approach the authorities. They should be able to approach or apply for any financial assistance. So they'll be assisted so that at least they are able to start pretty well afresh, so that they're able to build to start businesses, maybe build their homes. So at least maybe on that one, the government has made some arrangements into how their social being is going to be protected.
And George, despite the challenges many have faced, South Africa remains a key destination for workers from across the region. I mean, do returning migrants still see South Africa as, the land of opportunity, or has that perception perhaps begun to change, looking at how the government has responded in Malawi in terms of reintegration and, of course, absorbing those who have returned home?
The element of integration aside, what is very critical and what is very clear here is the fact that at a time when these returnees were arriving, others were also traveling back to South Africa. You see, these are the people that have just gotten their passports, and they were saying, we are going to South Africa to seek for green pastures. You see, so it's something that definitely, left quite a number of people worried or wondering or saying, how come? Government is saying, oh, you people who want to come back home, come back home. But at the same time, the majority of people are, boarding buses going to South Africa. So still more, as you've put it, South Africa for Malawi remains one of the best areas where people can find some job opportunities or business opportunities. So, I mean, it's not like a clear cut-off situation that Malawians should not go to South Africa. No, but what is very clear between the two governments is that whenever Malawians are going to South Africa, they should be properly documented. If they want to go and work there, they have to apply for work permits so that at least they work with liberty. So those are the kind of things that are raising some kind of public discourse at the moment. So the other issue that is very clear here is that for those that are pursuing or educational opportunities, they want to go to South Africa, there is also that platform through the South African embassy here to approach it so that at least, they are well processed. Even if those people that want to do business with South Africa, the South African embassy here is readily available to assisting them. You see, so it's a game of Malawian government and South African government talking to each other, and all these kind of things have been pretty well addressed, because some of these people that have arrived today didn't even have any documents. So all those kind of documents were pretty well processed by the South African government. So that's where you can see that Malawi and South Africa, as at government level. They're speaking to each other, and they've been shedding more light as to how these things should be handled. Mind you, there are also 600 Malawians in South Africa there that have also shown willingness to be coming back. And that is why today the chief secretary himself also said they'll be repatriating an additional 600 Malawians. So you can imagine it's a situation where it means there is good involvement between Malawi and South Africa at government level.
Yeah, absolutely. A good sign. That is our correspondent in Malawi, Georgia Mhango, speaking to some of the developments there, saying that about 176 foreign nationals, Malawians, got funded voluntary repatriation through the government of Malawi, and another 600 based here in South Africa are eager and enthusiastic to return home. As of course, the bottom line is documentation. Documentation must be legal. It must be legally processed as to avoid any conflict.